Most people have no idea how much information they are giving away at every moment. Their words say one thing, their body, their timing, their behavior says something else entirely. Learning to read that gap is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. This is not manipulation, this is perception. And there is a significant difference. Manipulators use this to control. Perceptive people use this to understand. Today you are going to learn how to understand. The first thing you need to know is that the conscious mind lies constantly. Not always out of malice, often out of self-protection, social conditioning, or fear. People say what they believe they are supposed to say, what is safe to say, what protects them. But beneath the words, the truth is always leaking out. Your job is to learn where to look. The first place to look is at the gap between words and behavior. What someone says they want and what they actually move toward are rarely the same thing. Watch where a person invests their time, energy, and attention without being asked. That is what they actually value, not what they tell you they value. Words are cheap. Repeated behavior over time is the truth. The second place to look is micro expressions. These are brief, involuntary flashes of genuine emotion that appear on the face before the social mask goes back on. They last less than 1/4 of a second, but they are real and they are consistent. Contempt, disgust, fear, sadness, anger, all of them flash before the controlled expression takes over. You have seen this before without knowing what you were seeing. That flicker of annoyance before the smile, that brief shadow before the reassurance. You felt something was off. You were right. You were reading a micro-expression. To train this skill, slow down your own reactions in conversations. Stop thinking about what you will say next. Start watching what is actually happening in front of you. Most people are so focused on performing in conversation that they miss everything being revealed to them. The third place to look is at what people do not say. Omission is one of the most powerful forms of deception available to the human mind. When someone tells a story and leaves out the part that would change how you feel about it, that silence is intentional. Listen for the gaps. Notice when an answer redirects rather than responds. A direct question met with a story, a counter question, or a subject change is almost never accidental. The fourth place to look is at baseline behavior. You cannot know when someone is behaving unusually unless you know how they behave normally. This requires paying attention over time rather than reacting to single moments. What is their normal energy level? Normal eye contact? Normal response time to messages? When those baselines shift, something has shifted internally. A person who normally replies quickly and now takes hours is experiencing something. A person who is normally warm and is now flat is carrying something they have not named. The shift is the signal. Your job is to notice it without immediately interpreting it. Notice first, ask later, react last. The fifth place to look is at how someone treats people who cannot do anything for them. The way a person speaks to service staff, to strangers, to people with no social power over them is revealing. In those interactions, the performance drops. The real character emerges. Watch how someone acts when there is nothing to gain and no one important watching. That is who they are, not the version they show you. The sixth place to look is at what makes someone defensive. Defensiveness is almost always a marker of either guilt, shame, or a deeply held insecurity. When someone reacts with unusual force to a mild question or a gentle observation, pay attention. They are not reacting to what you said, they are reacting to what it touched inside them. The intensity of the defense is often proportional to the size of what is being protected. Do not match their defensiveness with aggression. Stay calm, stay curious. The truth is already visible. The seventh place to look is at their relationship with eye contact. Most people think that avoiding eye contact means lying. This is only partially true. Avoidance of eye contact can indicate discomfort, shame, anxiety, or cognitive load from constructing something untrue. But excessive, unblinking eye contact can also be a sign of deliberate performance or practiced deception. The key is deviation from the individual's baseline, not a universal rule about eyes. The eighth place to look is at the body below the neck. People manage their face with conscious effort. They almost never manage their hands, feet, and torso. Feet point toward what a person actually wants to move toward the exit, toward a person they are attracted to. Hands touching the neck, face, or chest are self-soothing gestures. The body is calming itself from internal stress. A torso turned away during conversation is a physical withdrawal the person may not even be aware of. These signals are not performances. They are the body telling the truth while the mouth tells the story. The ninth place to look is at the words someone chooses when under pressure. Under pressure, people default to their real beliefs and their real emotional state. The careful language breaks down. The rehearsed version slips. Watch for sudden drops in vocabulary sophistication or sudden bursts of emotion that seem mismatched. Those moments are windows. They open briefly and then close again. The 10th place to look is at what someone finds funny. Humor is one of the most honest things a human being does. What someone laughs at without thinking reveals their real attitudes, real anxieties, and real values. Jokes are truths wearing a costume. The costume makes them safe to say. When someone laughs at something they quickly take back or soften. Believe the laugh, not the correction. The 11th thing to understand is the concept of projection. People frequently accuse others of the exact behaviors they are engaging in themselves. When someone constantly suspects others of lying, examine their own relationship with honesty. When someone frequently calls others selfish, jealous, or untrustworthy without real evidence, look inward at them. Projection is the mind's way of externalizing its own interior. It is almost never random. The 12th thing to understand is the power of silence. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with silence and will fill it with more information than they intended to give. When someone gives you an answer and you say nothing and simply hold steady eye contact, watch what happens. They will often continue talking, and in that continuation, the real content usually arrives. Silence is a tool. Learn to sit inside it without flinching. The 13th thing to understand is the difference between someone who is hurt and someone who is punishing. Someone who is hurt will eventually move toward repair. Their pain is real, but their goal is connection. Someone who is punishing will escalate, withdraw strategically, and measure your reaction carefully. The energy is entirely different once you know what to look for. Hurt seeks relief. Punishment seeks control. These two are not the same thing. The 14th thing to understand is that what people say about others tells you about them. When someone describes everyone in their past as a villain and themselves as the only reasonable person, that pattern is information. It is not impossible to be wronged by multiple people, but a consistent pattern of stories with the same theme deserves examination. What someone sees in others is almost always filtered through what lives inside them. The 15th thing to understand is that neediness and confidence are both highly readable. Genuine confidence does not announce itself. It moves without needing permission or validation. Performed confidence is always slightly louder than it needs to be, always slightly more insistent on being seen. And neediness, whether masked as helpfulness, humor, or anger, always reveals itself in the pattern of seeking a response. Learn to feel the difference between someone who is present and someone who is performing presence. Now, let us talk about how to use all of this ethically. This knowledge is not a weapon, it is a lens. Using it to dominate, manipulate, or destabilize someone is a misuse that will eventually destroy your own integrity. Use it to see people more clearly, to understand rather than exploit. Use it to protect yourself from those who do not have your best interests in mind. Use it to build more honest relationships, because you are no longer fooled by the surface. The goal of deep perception is deeper truth, not deeper power over others. When you see someone clearly, you also become responsible for what you see. You cannot unsee it. And that comes with a quiet obligation to respond thoughtfully. The most perceptive people are not the most suspicious people. They are the most compassionate. because they understand why people hide. They understand what fear looks like dressed up as behavior. They do not judge the mask. They recognize it, and they respond to what is beneath it. If this resonated with you, subscribe. We go this deep every single day. Now tell me in the comments, what is the one signal you have learned to trust above everything else when reading someone? Drop your answer below. Someone else needs to hear what you have figured out. Take care out there. See you in the next one.